Chapter 10. You believe in the crystal palace, eternally indestructible, that is, in something at which you can neither stick out your tongue nor cock a snook on the sly. Well, perhaps the reason I fear this edifice is that it is made of crystal and eternally indestructible, and because you cannot even furtively stick your tongue out at it. So you see, if instead of a palace there were a henhouse, and if it started raining, I might perhaps creep into the henhouse to avoid getting soaked, but I would never take the henhouse for a palace, out of gratitude for protecting me from the rain. You're laughing. You're even telling me that in this case it doesn't matter whether it's a henhouse or a mansion. Yes, I reply, if one's only aim in life is not getting wet. But what can I do if I've taken it into my head that this is not the sole purpose of living, and that if one has to live it might as well be in a mansion? That is my volition, that is my desire, only to rid of me it by changing my desire. Well, change it, tempt me with something else, give me another ideal, but in the meantime I shan't take a henhouse for a palace. It might even be that the crystal palace is a sham, that it's not provided for by the laws of nature, and that I only invented it as a result of my stupidity and certain outmoded, irrational habits of our generation. But what is to do with me if it's not provided for? Isn't it all the same so long as it exists and my desires? Better if it exists as long as my desires exist. Perhaps you're laughing again. Well, by all means laugh. I'll put up with your derision, but I still won't say I'm full when I'm hungry. For all that, I know that I'll never settle for compromise, for a constantly recurring zero simply because it exists according to the laws of nature, and in actual fact exists. I shall not accept as the crown of my desires a big tenement block with flats for impoverished tenants on 1,000-year leases with the dentist Wagenheim's name on the signboard for emergencies. Do away with my desires, eradicate my ideals, show me something better and I will follow you. You'll probably say that it's not worth getting involved, but in that case, I could give you the same reply. This is a serious discussion. If you don't want to honor me with your attention, I shan't come begging for it. I have my underground. Meanwhile, I carry on living and desiring. May my hand fall off if I carry one brick to that tenement block. Ignore the fact that just now I rejected the Crystal Palace for the sole reason that it would be impossible to stick one's tongue out at it. By no means was I saying this because I'm so fond of sticking out my tongue. Perhaps I was only angry because out of all your buildings, not one edifice at which you couldn't stick out your tongue has been found up to now. On the contrary, I would let my tongue be cut off from sheer gratitude if only that building could be so constructed that I would never again have the urge to stick it out again. What does it concern me if it were impossible to construct and that we had to content ourselves with tenement blocks? So why was I created with such desires? Could I possibly have been created solely and simply to reach the conclusion that my whole makeup is nothing but a swindle? Can that be the whole purpose? I don't believe it. However, do you know what? I'm convinced that underground people like me must be kept under strict control. They might well be capable of sitting in the underground for 40 years without uttering one word, but the moment they emerge into the light of day and break their silence, they just talk and talk and talk. Okay, that was number 10.